sometimes I get emails from people and people asking about if they can use the brown wax cylinders on a dictaphone machine, and there's no real easy answer to that, but I hope I can kind of outline a few of the things that you have to think about whenever you're trying to use one of these old dictaphone machines. This is a Model 12, and one of the first things you'll notice about it is that the mandrel is kind of weird because it's got these slots, these sets of 3 slots, 2 sets of them, and when the machine came from the factory and was being used as an office type dictation machine, it had these spring-loaded metal clips down inside the slots that would be poking out of the slots. They're curved metal pieces that put a pressure on the inside of the blank. So the idea is you push the blank on there, and these metal pieces apply a force to the blank to hold it on the mandrel. The downside of that is it's really harsh on the inside of the blank and tears it up. So there is a way that you can sort of get in there with a screwdriver and push those spring-loaded pieces aside and get them out of the way. So then you just have a regular smooth mandrel that's a lot easier on the blank. Plus, they had this outfit here, this lever, which pushes with this shoe here against the blank to get it off. And I found out that 9 times out of 10, that'll take a nice chunk out of your blank. So you don't want to use that. All the record-destroying stuff has sort of been parked and put on hold, and you don't really want to use that. So anyway, if you try to use a brown wax blank that's made for Edison phonograph on a dictaphone machine, here's what you run up against. It goes right up against this lip like that, but it's loose on the mandrel. So that's kind of a no-go situation. It's not going to get you anywhere. So to solve that, the easy solution is cut a piece out of a piece of paper, tape it together just as a shim to put over your mandrel, and then your blank can just slip right on like this, like that, and it's a nice fit, and it doesn't wobble, and it's on there nice and tight. So the same thing applies with the dictaphone blanks when you're going to use those. You just slide right on there like that, and it doesn't hit the lip, and it's on the mandrel like it's supposed to be, and it won't wreck the blank. Okay, what I'm going to do here is demonstrate how these machines like to bounce the recorder. If you've got the mandrel and the cylinder turning, and then you set your recorder down. So here goes a bounce test. This is a recording test, and right before you hear the start of the recording, you'll hear a bounce. Okay.
This is a recording test, and right before you hear the start of the recording, you'll hear a bounce.
Alright, so now for this one, we're going to do it without the bounce, which means that we'll set the recorder down before the mandrel is turning, and then start the mandrel and the cylinder turning, and then make the recording test. Okay, so now here's a recording test done, hopefully without the bounce. And then we'll play it back.
So now here's a recording test done, hopefully without the bounce. Okay, now we're going to do a little recording test on a brown wax blank being recorded on the Model 12 dictaphone machine.
This is a test to show the comparison between the brown wax and the black wax dictaphone blank.
This is a test to show the comparison between the brown wax and the black wax dictaphone blank.
So That was recorded at 160 RPM, and the groove pitch is 100 grooves to the inch. And we're trying to play it on a machine which is turning only at 80 RPM, and the groove pitch is 160 grooves per inch. So we have a serious mismatch there, but that shows that you can sort of crank up the speed here to, what does that look like? Maybe 100, 120, maybe if you're lucky. And you can sort of get somewhere with it a little bit. You can get a lot closer if you take dictaphone recordings made at 80 RPM and 160 grooves per inch, and then you go and try to play them on an Edison machine and turn the speed way down. You can get down to the 80 okay, and then if you put it in the 4-minute feed, which is 200 grooves per inch, you can actually successfully play 2 or 3 turns before it skips. So you can get a better match that way, but basically is they don't match. 2 different formats.